Let's talk a little bit about higher order components. Now, you may have heard of higher order components before, or maybe you haven't. I'll tell you that no matter what, you've definitely been using them, even if you haven't really realized it. So we're going to start by talking a little bit about what they are and what purpose they serve. Before we do that, let's install our boilerplate package just to get that process running. So in my browser, I'm going to navigate to github.com/StephenGreiter/Redux Simple Starter. Once there, I'm going to either clone this repository using the link, or there's directions down here to download and install the repository if you're not familiar with Git. So either way, you're covered. Over at my terminal, I'm going to clone the repository. And after I clone it, I'll change into the directory and run an npm install. Okay, so while that's going, let's talk a little bit more about exactly what a higher order component is. I'm going to pull a diagram on the screen that's going to do just a little bit of a rudimentary explanation, and then we're going to dive into the topic more in the next section. So a higher order component is a React component that adds some additional functionality or behavior to an existing component that you've already written or plan to write in the future. We combine a normal component, or one that kind of places HTML or produces HTML and puts it on the page, with one or more higher order components. And what we get back from that is an enhanced or composed component. So we take a higher order component, we combine it with a regular component, and that gives us an enhanced or composed component. When we add a higher order component to a normal component, what we're really doing is we are adding on some additional functionality or data onto our component. And so higher order components in practice end up being a fantastic way to extract functionality that is common to multiple components or maybe multiple features within our application. It's also great for providing duplicate logic, or maybe we are duplicating logic all over the place inside of our app. And if we see a location where we can kind of centralize that logic, that would be the purpose of a higher order component. Higher order components are also very commonly used with third-party libraries, including React Redux. And so when I said you've probably already been using these without really knowing it, I'm specifically referring to React Redux. And in the next section, we'll do a little bit more of a discussion about exactly where you've been using higher order components already. I'm going to close this diagram, and it looks like my dependencies are all done installing, so I will go ahead and catch you in the next section.